Guys, I'm teaming up with my good friend, retired Navy SEAL Jocko Willink for something real special. Jocko started Jocko Fuel when he found out the supplements he was buying for himself and his family were filled with heavy metals and ingredients he was unaware of. He wanted a line of supplements and consumables that had all of the good, effective ingredients and none of the bad. So we made it happen. I got set up with all of the key products, and we want to do the same for you. Jocko Go energy drinks for clean, sustainable energy. Jocko Milk Protein for 30 grams of delicious grass-fed protein, plus a full line of supplements to support mood, focus, hydration, joints, and more. Jocko Fuel supplements are scientifically formulated and made with ingredients that are clinically tested. They are better for you options with no artificial flavors or sweeteners, no added sugar, and no gray area ingredients or banned substances. It's clean fuel without compromise. And right now, you can get 20% off when you use code CHAEL at jockofuel.com. Or if it's easier, just click on the link below. Ryan Garcia took out Devin Haney. What do you make of that? I mean, what do you do with that? Like, if you were a naysayer before this fight that was very bullish on the idea, and there was two schools of thought, by the way, and you know what? That doesn't mean there was only two schools. Like, here was the narrative. Either Ryan Garcia was trolling, he was marketing, he was working, he was building media to bring attention, or he had lost his mind. Now, I gotta tell you, like a lot of times, a lot of arguments, a lot of discussions, there's only two ways to go. I only submit for you right now, there's a lot more options than either he was a marketing master or he had lost his mind. There's lots of other options, but if we're to operate on those two, which is where we were per the media before the fight started, the commission should stop the fight. The commission should not allow this to go on. And there's other people that came forward that said, if you genuinely believe that there is a mental issue going on with Ryan Garcia, that you should not watch the fight. You should not support that in any way. You should also be very careful about teasing him or pointing something out, because you would not tease or point something out for somebody that had a disability. So it was one of these spots, and that argument was used just to get people to stop saying it, to make them really look in the mirror and really wonder, do you mean that? Do you truly mean that you believe he's at a deficit and that the government should step in and stop him from earning a living? Because if you truly mean that, then you will not be watching the fight. And all of a sudden, the weigh-ins come. He's overweight. All of a sudden, the ceremonial weigh-ins come, and he's drinking a beer on the scale. He's going to social media. He's keeping it going. When the fight ends and after he was absolutely dominant and won, it now all of a sudden put people in a very tough position. All of a sudden, the questioning of the commission, now you lose your card for the rest of time to ever question the commission. But what do you do with Ryan Garcia? Do you now say, okay, he was trolling, right? As those are the two schools of thought. That he could not be on drugs, he could not be losing his mind, he could not be drinking like he says and still have victory. And then he goes out has an absolute dominant victory. Do you start to see where those two belief systems are no longer true? You start to see, well, there is room for a third theory, a fourth and a fifth theory. I don't feel that we have enough evidence right now to know where it lands. Like, Ryan has come out and told everybody after the fact that he was high every day and drunk every night during training camp. He's come out and said that. I don't think that we have reason to not believe him. But what do you do with that? Right? I mean, what do you do with that? I could only speculate. But my speculation, boy, it's a slippery slope. When somebody has a level of success by having behaviors that are not typically aligned with a person, particularly in this case, an athlete, that is successful, it's very hard to get them off that track. Right? It's just, it's almost a gateway and leads to saying, yes, see, I had it right. I can do this, and therefore I can do more. And we've only had a couple people in this position throughout my lifetime where it worked, where you could do both. Ryan Garcia would go into that category. Now, a number of guys do it, by the way, but they don't talk about it publicly. So we don't actually know that there's only a couple. I was going to say Ryan Garcia, and there was a basketball player named Dennis Rodman. I was just going to compare those two because they were very open, and they use that as part of their media. They use that as part of their marketing. Now, the reality is you would have a lot more folks that are doing it, and they just keep it quiet and hide it. I understand that. But where would you go with Ryan Garcia? Or where would you go with that? There's also a rumor, Boxing Kingdom put this out. And I got to credit Boxing Kingdom because they are the most gullible media source in boxing that has a large base. They got over 100,000 followers on Twitter, by the way. But they are completely gullible, and they know that. Like, they won't use their own name. They won't even use their own face. But they still got a lot of following, and they are claiming that Garcia bet $2 million on himself to win, and that he cashed a ticket today for $12 million. Now, I don't believe either of those to be true, but that doesn't mean there isn't some truth behind it. That doesn't mean that he didn't bet on himself. That didn't mean he wasn't confident. There wasn't a ticket to some degree. Because you run into the question of how you're going to get him off this train. And you also run into an issue of, well, what if it was marketing? And then you run into the issue of, well, what if it was both? And then you run into the final analysis, which is, it's none of your business. There's the answer. And it's not a nice one, by the way. I mean, I like it when our heroes can be athletes, and I like it when those athletes can be role models. I like that. I get it. I carry with me a level of sportsmanship that you win in Little League, or that you get instilled in you in Little League, over to the pros, whatever arena you might be in. I do understand that. But if you're asking the government to step in and stop an athlete who is doing legal behavior, you might not like the drinking, but he's not drinking and driving. You might not like the drinking, but he's over 21. I'll just remind you of is you have a legal behavior being done by an adult. And you are left to wonder, where is the act? I mean, for example, we come out, we hear that he smokes dope. I've never seen him smoke dope. We're told that he drank a beer on the scale in front of the commission at the ceremonial weigh-ins the day prior to the fight. But I don't know what was actually in that bottle. I watched a clip of him today on a private jet allegedly headed to Miami with his clinger-ons, right? And everybody's got him in the group. And he's holding the whiskey the whole time. He's got his shirt off. He's making a promo, but I never saw him drink the whiskey. I'm just sharing for you. I don't know where I fall and or believe. Do I believe that Ryan Garcia was high every day and drunk every night with his father there running his camp? Okay. Or do I believe that Devin Haney gets up every single morning at 4:30, as he claims, works out up to 5 times a day, runs 8 miles every single day? Neither one of those stories is believable. So you ask me which one is more believable? That Devin Haney runs 8 miles a day while doing 5 sessions, which simply does not happen, or that Ryan Garcia is high and drunk in the presence of his father as his like, interesting. It's an interesting spot. Maybe Ryan's the only honest athlete out there. Maybe he's the only one that tells the truth, or at least he tells a version that is closer to the truth than Mr. 4:30, 8-mile, 5 workouts, which that I can guarantee you does not happen. So which one do you want to believe? Who's the liar in the room? Who's the honest guy in the room? Who told you the truth? Who got the win? You can try to decide. You can do your detective work. You can submit your evidence. Or you can realize that you're the audience member. They're the principals. And if you choose to, sit back and enjoy the show.